20-some years ago, I made the decision to get away from being a reporter, tired of dealing with prima donna athletes who weren't even making billions of dollars at that time, tired of writing about drug trials, tired of writing about the latest crime committed by the latest moronic athlete. And I got into this gambling business, okay? Because it's something I've always loved. And to get paid to do what you're loving, well, is there anything better than that? But as a handicapper and as a gambler, I've never subscribed to the theory that the glass is either half full or half empty. I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. That's why I always say to you, and many times if you watch these videos over the years, I've said to you that you're going to have losing days. You have to expect to lose doing what we do every single day. And some days, those losses are going to be catastrophic. But again, if you never bet more than you can afford to lose, you're never going to get into that deep financial abyss from which there is no possible escape. Well, yesterday, guys, was one of those catastrophic days. Listen, I started it off after cashing in with a 15-dime winner, which matches my normal best bet in the NBA on Friday night with Golden State. On Saturday, hitting for the fifth time in 6 Saturdays with a 15-dime best bet. Was it any easier than Houston 34-0 as an 11-point home favorite over Vanderbilt? I came out with my 15-dime winner, number 5 out of 6 on Sunday, the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, that was a great choice, wasn't it? Of course, here on the video, I gave you the Houston Texans and the New Orleans Saints, telling you to buy down the half point. Perfect 2-0 sweep. It happens sometime. Later in the day, Brad Wilton, who has made you more money than any other handicapper here at the site over the past 3.5 months, particularly after the past 5 weeks, yesterday, after hitting his only 250-dime play of the season in the NFL, after going 3-0 with, or 4-0 with 200-dime plays and 3-0 with 100-dime plays, he had a 300-dime play on the Seattle Seahawks. They had a zillion chances to cover the game. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Doesn't come into play in this thing that we do and call gambling. And then, of course, Anthony Redd, who's also been on a nice little roll, goes with the Green Bay Packers as his 150-dime NFL dime release. Wrong side of that one, obviously. So yesterday was one of those days. But again, as I also often try to remind you, if you're coming late to the dance and you haven't been along for the ride for Brad Wilton's 5-week winning streak, then you've got to bet appropriately. You've got to bet accordingly, according to your money management system, according to your personal bankroll. Again, you never bet more than you can afford to lose. For those that have been on the Brad Wilton bandwagon, shall we call it, hey, yesterday was a bad loss, but you know what? It wasn't your money you lost. It was somebody else's because he's made you a ton and he's still up. This isn't to justify or rationalize losses. Listen, you either win or you lose in this business. Not only my business, but in this thing, gambling, that we both do. That's the bottom line. But again, there are going to be catastrophic days like yesterday. And you know what? You got to mutter your favorite obscenity. And I am now using my 2016 quotient after yesterday. You have to mutter your favorite obscenity, shrug your shoulders, and go, today's another day. Because if you dwell on the past, if you lament the losses, the same way you should never celebrate the wins, you often lose focus and you miss the next money-making opportunity ahead of you. Well, tonight, that's in the NFL for most people, Carolina and Indianapolis. To me, it's a damn hard game to figure out. I'm going to talk about that game, give you my thoughts on it after I broke it down. I'm going to give you 2 NBA free selections, of which I'm 3-0 already this season and 5-1 overall with my best bets and free picks already in the NBA. That's where my best bet's going to be tonight in the NBA. That's coming up in just a moment. In terms of your featured play, half price play of the day is going to be Gabriel DuPont. First 100-dime max wager NFL release this season. He is 7-1-1 with them since joining the site right before the 2014 Super Bowl. First one goes this season. It's your side selection. 50-dime plays or higher since he joined the site in all sports. $10 bettors have won a little over 24 grand. They're up over $8,000 this year in all sports. They're up over 15 grand since Thanksgiving. Almost a year. $15,000 net. Wins minus losses minus the VIG. He's made $10 bettors over 15 grand in the past 11 months. Not too shabby. All your other promos, etc., are over on the homepage. Let's talk about the games here tonight. If you don't mind, I'm going to start with the NBA because that's where I think your best value is here in terms of the free selections. The New York Knicks are coming off a big road win against the Washington Wizards. And ironically, they're 2-0 on the road, and they're 0-1 at home. I don't know if you happen to see that, but the interesting sidebar to the Knicks win at Washington yesterday was the fact that Jared Dudley had commented during the offseason that Carmelo Anthony was the most overrated player in the NBA. Listen, trash talking goes on everywhere, okay? But if you don't think athletes don't remember when they are trashed by somebody else doing the talking, you are sorely mistaken. So after the game yesterday, Carmelo Anthony was quoted as saying that it got back to me and I had this game circled on my calendar. Well, Melo was not really good in the season's first two games. Had just 36 total points, right? 14 for 43 shooting in the first two games. Yesterday, monster game. 37 points, hit 11 out of 18 shots, hit 4 out of 5 three-pointers, 11 out of 12 free throws. I mean, he also got into a heated exchange with Jared Dudley in that contest. What a big surprise. And the Knicks won that game. So you see San Antonio coming in here tonight to Madison Square Garden, and the Knicks are an 8-point underdog. And you would say, hey, they're coming off a big win. They've won 2 out of 3 already. Let's grab the points. I don't think so. I think San Antonio is the way to go here. Let's just remember the Knicks aren't that good. Okay? San Antonio, if Greg Popovich decides not to rest Tim Duncan, not to rest Manu Ginobili, not to rest Tony Parker, these are big ifs, I grant you, and that's why it's a free pick. That's why my money's not on it, because I don't know what Greg Popovich thinks. I don't think sometimes Greg Popovich knows what he thinks when he opens his mouth. Just ask anybody on TV. The Spurs are coming off a easy win against Boston on the road, 95-87 yesterday, held the Celtics to just 35.7% shooting. I was encouraged with the fact that LaMarcus Aldridge, who still looks uncomfortable on the floor, had 24 points and 14 rebounds. He only had 21 total points in the first two games. Kawhi Leonard, once again, another nice game, 19 points. He's averaging a little over 22 in the season's first 3 games. I think the Spurs are the play here, laying the 7.5 to 8 points. Listen, they were 9-4 against the spread as a road favorite of 6 or more points a year ago. And don't forget, maybe a little revenge motivating San Antonio last year, because when they came to New York last year on St. Patrick's Day, Knicks injury riddled, no Carmelo Anthony. They lost 104-100 in overtime. So I'm going to go once again with the Spurs as your first complimentary play. Your next complimentary play, the Clippers are a 9-point home favorite against the Phoenix Suns. And listen, the Clippers have gotten off to a 3-0 start. They won by 7 at Sacramento. They just beat the Kings at home by 5. They won 16 at home against the Mavericks. It's mainly because Blake Griffin is just playing out of his mind right now. I mean, the guy's averaging like 32 points a game and hitting 64% from the field. But the bench that was supposedly rejuvenated, revamped, etc., Jamal Crawford and Paul Pierce and Josh Smith and Lance Stevenson and these guys, they haven't produced squat. They haven't produced anything. Now, the Phoenix Suns are coming off a home-and-home sweep of the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think Portland's that good, okay? That's to be honest with you. I mean, this is a Portland team that lost 4 out of their 5 starters from a year ago, including LaMarcus Aldridge, okay? So the thing, though, in this game is I just don't like the Clippers laying this many points, especially since the bench is not that good. The Suns have a much better and younger and more affordable bench, especially since the backcourt, Clippers aren't going to have the edge here tonight. Not when you have Chris Paul, okay, going up against Eric Bledsoe, that's definitely a draw, let's say. But when you got Brandon Knight for the Suns, who's off to a good start going up against who? J.J. Redick? I'm sorry, J.J.'s a little flat-footed. Okay, he's not going to be able to take on Brandon Knight, I think, here defensively. You got Tyson Chandler, who's off to a good start after being signed as a free agent away from Dallas for the Suns to anchor the middle against DeAndre Jordan, who ironically spurned the Mavericks after being signed originally in free agency when it opened, spurning their offers to be Chandler's replacement. I think that's an even match. So I think grabbing the 9 points is the way to go with Phoenix as the road dog. Now, tonight's game with Carolina. Well, listen, guys, first of all, the favorites are 6-5-2 against the spread this week. 3 more times the underdog went outright yesterday. The Bucks, don't I know it, the Oakland Raiders, and that little team called the Denver Broncos last night. I counted as 2 pushes the games between New Orleans and New York, which was clearly a push, and the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game, because that line was virtually pick 'em or 1 point one way or the other most of the time yesterday. So the Dogs are now up 58, 52, and 9 against the spread this season. And of those 58 underdogs, 40 of the 58 have won the game outright. Now, the dogs are 6-2 on Monday night. Only 2 favorites have covered. It was Green Bay against Kansas City, Philadelphia against New York. You know what happened last week when Baltimore got the backdoor covered late against Arizona. But going back to 1993, the favorites of 6.5 points or less, there are only 5 games over 500 in Monday night action. 134 wins, 129 losses. Home favorites are only 7 games over 500. Going back to 1993 in Monday night action at 132 and 125 with 6 pushes along the way. I'm looking at this Carolina team. They're a 5.5 point favorite. What did Indianapolis show me last week? They showed me that they could fall down 27-0 at home to the New Orleans Saints, a Saints team that had 186 rushing yards in that game. Cam Newton hasn't played well in the last 2 weeks. 5 interceptions, 3 in that game against the Eagles and 2 in the week prior at Seattle when the Seahawks or when the Panthers rallied for the win. But he still got his team the win, and they're undefeated. And the Colts look to me like a team that can't stop the run, can't get to opposing quarterbacks, can't run the ball effectively. And Andrew Luck, I don't know what's wrong, but he sure doesn't look right. And also, Luck is only 5-7 against the spread as a road underdog since he entered the NFL. So I'll tell you what, if I had to play this game based on Carolina's defense, and you saw how good they were against Philadelphia, right? Stuffed the run, constantly putting putting the pressure on Sam Bradford. I got to think that Carolina's defense is the difference here. 5.5. Funny number, though, It's not a normal number you're associated with this game. At 3.5, I'm on Carolina probably as a best bet. At 5.5, I lean a little toward Carolina, but not even enough to make it a free play. But handicap the game, what the hell? I mean, listen, the Panthers have won 10 straight regular season games going back to last season. Colts just 3-4 on the year. I mean, and again, they were down 27-0 before 3 late touchdowns made it respectable in that loss to the Saints last week. So your official free plays are going to be the Phoenix Suns as the road dog, catching 9 at the LA Clippers, the San Antonio Spurs laying the 8 at the New York Knicks, and I lean a little toward Carolina minus the 5.5 at home. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to y'all, and I'll talk to you again on Tuesday when we do this one more time.